I am the director of the Group on Earth Observation Secretariat. The Group on Earth Observation this year is actually celebrating 20 years. We got going in 2005 with a pretty foundational mission to make sure that all the decisions about the Earth for the benefit of the people, the planet, nature, are made based on the information about the said planet. Seems like it should go without saying, but here we are, 20 years, and still more work to do. We've recently pivoted from being about just Earth observations alone to about being about Earth intelligence and delivering Earth intelligence to all, everyone and everywhere. And that transition from just data and observations towards intelligence has been quite intentional, because we know that data alone, observations alone, are not really driving action. We need to make sure that people are getting actionable insights on which to then make decisions and take that action with confidence. And the confidence certainly comes from them knowing that there is this massive global community of scientists and experts who are putting forward the best quality science-based knowledge products, that what they are receiving from us is in fact best-in-class, quality-assured insights. And they can act with resolve and with confidence. Who is this they I'm talking about? Well, it's really everyone. It should be everyone. It should be policymakers. It should be entrepreneurs, business communities, civil society, and everyday citizens. Why? Well, the WEF Global Risk Report that came out just this month, January, we're now in February, came out in January, on the 10-year horizon, put the following 3 risks at the top of the chart. We could probably cite them together, right? The first risk is extreme weather events, right at the top of the 10-year horizon. The second, ecosystem and biodiversity collapse. The third, shortage of natural resources. All of these 3 risks, in 10 years, we all know it's not forever. It's just around the corner. And Earth observation community is the community that can be providing and will be providing those reliable insights to inform action. But that action must be taken. And unfortunately, there are a lot of distractions happening every day that almost compete for our attention. There are the institutional systems that are just fragile, and they're constantly sending shockwaves all over the world. So it really is important that now, more than ever, this community does keep an eye on the blue marble, as we have done for decades. There is no time for despair, for distraction, for this and that. We really have to be laser focused on the mission of putting the best and most quality information about the state of nature, about the state of planet out there. Within the Group on Earth Observations, we are very cognizant of the intricate, interdependent, interconnected nature of the various crises. As the name suggests, we are about studying the Earth as a system, and we want to be sure that our action, and by our, I mean your collective, because all of the organizations that you saw on the screen are actually members of the GEO family. So I kind of speak on your behalf when I say what I say. I hope you agree with what I'm saying. Our mission is really to ensure that we inform decisions and action across systems. And I think the world is ready for this integrated approach to problem solving, to systems change. We see this all the time, even in the last few COPs. In the biodiversity COP, in climate COP, and in land degradation COP, there is more and more talk by the policymakers about the importance for these communities to converge. At the CCD COP in Riyadh just past December, the UN CCD Science Policy Interface has actually called for global science policy alliance, so that IPBES and IPCC and UNCCD Science Policy Interface work collectively, unifying and amplifying their respective expertise. And Earth observation community has a unique role to play to deliver information products that can serve all of those purposes, so that the challenge that Astrid identified of data and information and science being patchy and fragmented can actually come together in a unified, harmonized way, so that we all, stakeholders of the planet, can actually see our planet as one, see it in a unified way, manage it in a unified way. I have a partner in crime too, Gillian Campbell. We're criminals. But our crime is good just as is yours. Because one such effort to harmonize and standardize and converge efforts is the Global Ecosystems Atlas that the Group on Earth Observation convened with partners like IUCN and the Secretariat of CBD. It is in recognition that by 2030, we have a massive goal. We have to halt loss of nature. How do we know if we've done it? If we can't even have one comprehensive look at the state of nature. So our effort is to bring together all of the data about ecosystems, global, regional, national data sets that have mapped ecosystems, harmonize them, map that which hasn't been mapped, because almost 55% of ecosystem types have not been mapped, and then create that common unified resource for monitoring, mapping, and managing the world's ecosystems. Joanna, one of my bosses, everybody wants to recognize their bosses. I recognize Joanna as one of my bosses, mentioned the efforts that we had in Cali during CBD COP16. You know why the Global Ecosystems Atlas was so well received, and by whom? It was actually especially the private sector, the businesses who are looking into nature finance and harmonized way of measuring state of nature. Every business does not want to create their own map, but they want to have access to data that is quality assured and can allow them to sort of have comparability across scales and the geographies. And countries are really keen to see this kind of effort because it will allow them to exchange experiences, learn from one another how to classify their ecosystems, how to map their ecosystems. And Earth observation with the kind of sensor technology that we saw presented here, and the artificial intelligence applications, and the many projects that ESA and other partners are developing to create tools of empowerment that can allow countries, local communities to map their ecosystems and then contribute them into this collective resource is a game-changing opportunity. So in terms of the moment in time, this is truly a pivotal moment. And we have a lot to offer to the world. But it's not going to move the needle unless that information gets picked up on. So I'm really delighted to see our convention representatives here, our MEA representatives. We should be really having a lot more interaction with policymakers, being present at the various COPs, but also get out there and be in front of the private sector as well. Another WEF report that talked about the value of Earth observation that actually quantified that Earth observation alone will reach $700 billion USD by 2030 in its value alone, and cumulative value to global GDP can be 3.8 trillion. That's from adoption of Earth observation. And no surprise, the key sectors who are prime users of Earth observation information are agriculture, supply chain logistics, energy, public services. Those are the sectors that have to still be persuaded that Earth observation information is a strategic asset. It is not something that you turn to if you happen to have a little bit of spare attention span. It is as vital as any other asset that they want to get their hands on, because using Earth observation-derived data allows them to make sure that the investments they're making are future-proofed, that the impact for their investments are actually positive. It helps them to target the investments in the right places at the right time. So our collective mission has to be about using the power of Earth observation and all other observation that come from the ground up to transform the way our society truly interacts with nature, so we can change the system so we can preserve this very fragile blue marble for the future generations from whom we just borrow planet Earth. So thanks very much for letting me be the sweeper in this array of speakers in the opening session. And I too look forward to a really nice engagement. And I hope it's very action-oriented. At Biospace25 builds actions that can be picked up later at another conference, say Living Data Conference in Colombia. We have opportunities with this community to build on various events. So let's pick up some concrete, tangible collaboration actions and move them forward and advance down the line. Thank you.